Hi, it's Judy Westergaard Jenkins here. I'm so happy that Patty's invited me here today to talk to you a little bit about using IPC brushes and stencils to create some awesome lettering. This all comes out of my new book, Chalk It Up. It's about decorative painting with chalk typography. Patty's got all the projects, and she's also got all the brand new stencils so that you can use stencils and a chalk pencil to do any of the lettering in the book. In fact, they're so new, I'm up in Canada and I don't have them yet. So I thought it would be appropriate for me to demonstrate how to use the stencils with Patty's Wishes stencil, because I wish I had my stencils here. So hopefully this will show you a little bit how to do them. I'm just demonstrating on a piece of black paper. I placed the stencil on top, and you can see I have most of it filled in. I've just got a little bit left to do. Let's do the letter E. And it would help if I use the right General charcoal white pencil. And I'm just scribbling right in the stencil as I'm holding the stencil in place. You could tape the stencil down. You could use the repositioning spray. I don't particularly care to use that on since I'm using paper, so I'm just going to rely on hanging on to it. I will always have to sharpen my pencil frequently when I'm doing this. But there, you can see I have most all of it filled in. A couple extra little touches here and there. And then I can pull it off and show you what it looks like, but I want to show you the blending that I did first using the IPC Medium Soft Flat Top. On this first swash of the W, you can see it looks a little bit softer. When I pull this back, you'll be able to see the difference. See how that is softly blended and this has the chalkboard look? Either look is fine. It all depends on just the look you're going for. I want a softer look, so I'm going to use this to blend. I can also use the medium Deerfoot. You don't apply quite as much pressure. It's a little easier on your hand because you hold it at an angle. And I'm just pouncing. And you'll notice that occasionally I get a little bit of chalk dust on the outside of the stencil. Okay, just about have it here. When I have this all placed on, all dusted the way I want it, I'm going to go with the medium angle cut and just give it a couple swipes so it's not quite as perfectly blended. And I'm going to pull this back, and there's my stencil looking like a chalkboard. I did manage to get just a few little areas where I have chalk where I don't want it, and I'm going to use the angle cut to wipe those away. Now when I'm working on paper, of course I cannot use a wet brush. I've got to use a dry brush. I'm going to use a large flat blend anywhere where I want to cut an edge or clean an area up. I'm just going to touch it. Now I can also go with a sharpened charcoal pen, and you're going to hear some noise here. I use an electric sharpener to get a little bit better point. And if I want to, I can fill this in. If I want it to look like it's all one continuous hand-done letter rather than a stencil, I can go into these areas and just freehand that in. There's another spot up here at the top. Oh, one spot here. And let's connect this up. Now you don't have to do this. You might want the stencil look. On this one I want it to look like it's all hand lettered. Looks like I've slaved over it for hours. In fact, it's just taken a few minutes. And I'm going to take and I'm just going to lightly soften those areas. Take off the excess. And it gives me a really nice look. I can also take, and if I want to do some drop shadows, I can use my white charcoal pencil for doing that. I'm just going to run right along the right edge. And I like a broken line. I think it's more interesting. So I'll stop and start it in a few places. I'll do on this side. And I think I'll finish off over here just to give you the idea of what it's going to look like. I'm going to stop right there and go underneath this area and then continue the drop shadow here. I generally always try to do right side and lower side, or left side and top side. Just a good habit to get in when you're doing drop shadows. You want them to be consistent. And now I need one right down the side here. And I don't think I'm going to do anything more on the rest of the letters. I like them just as they are. One thing I can do if I want to is I can do some embellishment here and there. I can add some fun stroke work if I'd like. I could just add a little bit of detail. Just a couple. You don't want to overdo. I'm choosing a comma simply because it's replicating this little bit of a comma stroke. Makes my lettering a little fancier. Maybe a little bit at the top here too. Oh, I would run that around in a circle. And finish this off with a bit of a comma. Really gives me a fun look. And it's taken me about 5 minutes to do something that might take me a lot longer if I were going to go ahead and letter this by hand. So again, I've just used one of Patty's stencils. I've used General Pencil's white charcoal pen, and I'm using the IPC blenders from Dynasty. So go ahead, check out all of my new stencils from the Chalk It Up book and have lots of fun. Remember, life is better when you're painting.